Hello, second graders. Whoop, whoop. It's Mrs. Clark. Do you like playing card games? I do. I love playing all kinds of card games. We have a deck of cards at home and we like to play lots of different kinds of games. Today, I'd like to teach you how to play a new game using cards. You may use cards at your house to play this game, or you may use your eTools cards to play this game at school or at home. If you do have a deck of cards at home, you could teach your family how to play this game. Before we start playing the game, we have to learn the rules to the game. Boys and girls, I would like to share the rules of the game with you on our math reference, inside our math reference books. If you have your math reference book with you, it's on page 154. Here we go. The game is called Name That Number. The things that you're going to need are number cards, 0 through 20, 4 of each card, 0 through 10, and 1 of each card, 11 through 20. If you're using your eTools, you can specify which cards you want to use. The players, you need 2 to 4 players to play the game. This game might be a really fun game to teach your family. You can have more than 2 players at home, maybe then. The game is more fun when played by 3 or 4 players. So if you've got 3 or 4 people in your family, you could play this game with them. If you've got a couple of kids in your classroom that sit nearby you, you could play the game with them. The skill is using addition and subtraction to name equivalent numbers. You heard me say equivalent numbers on Friday when we were talking about name collection boxes. The object of the game is to collect the most cards. All right, now let's look at the directions. Direction number 1. What we're going to do is we are going to shuffle the deck and place 5 cards number side up on the table. Leave the rest of the deck number side down. Then turn over the top card of the deck and lay it down next to the deck. The number on this card is the number to be named. Call this number the target number. Direction number 2. Players take turns. When it is your turn, try to name the target number by adding or subtracting the numbers on 2 or more of the 5 cards that are number side up. A card may be used only once for each turn. If you can name the target number, take the cards you used to name it. Also, take the target number card. Then replace all the cards you took by drawing from the top of the deck. If you cannot name the target number, your turn is over. Turn over the top card on the deck and lay it down on the target number pile. The number on this card is the new target number. Direction number 3. The play continues until all of the cards in the deck have been turned over. The player who has taken the most cards wins. Here is an example of this game in play. May and Joe are taking turns. These are the cards that are in front of them. 4, 10, 8, 12, 2. Here's the whole deck turned face down. And then here beside the deck is the target number. In this case, the target number is 6. So we want to use any of these 5 cards either by adding or subtracting to try and make the number 6. If we can use any of these cards to make the number 6, then we get to take those cards for ourselves. And remember, whoever has taken the most cards wins the game. All right, let's read more. It says, it is May's turn. The target number is 6. May names the number with 12 minus 4 minus 2. She also could have said 4 plus 2 or 8 minus 2. May takes the 12, 4, 2, and 6 cards. Then she replaces them by drawing cards from the deck. Now it is Joe's turn. Did you see what May did? She thought of a problem where she could subtract even a couple of times to get to the number 6. So by doing this, she's actually collecting more cards. 12 minus 4 is what? Yes, that's correct. It's 8. And then 8 minus 2 more is 6. So her problem does work out correctly. When May is done taking cards 12, 4, and 2, she's going to draw 3 more cards and put them in those same places that she took the cards from. May also gets to keep the number 6, her target number, because she was able to make an adding or a subtracting problem that equaled that number. So she's going to take another card from the deck and replace this number. So now she will have a new target number. All right, boys and girls, here what you are looking at is a Name That Numbered record sheet. So I am pretending like these are the cards that I just drew out of the card deck, and my target number is 16. So here I have a 7, a 10, an 8, a 12, and a 1, and I have to start thinking, what number combinations can I make to get the answer of 16? Can I add any of these numbers together to make 16? Can I subtract any of these numbers to make the number 16? Go ahead and start thinking about what you would do to make the number 16. I'll give you just a minute. I tell you what, I don't know what you're thinking, but I'm kind of having a hard time coming up with a combination of 2 numbers that makes the number 16. Well, could I use 3 of these numbers to make the number 16? Absolutely. I know that 7 plus 8 is 15, and that's very close to 16. So one more. I'm so lucky that I have a number 1 card. I can actually add 7 plus 8 plus 1, and that will equal 16. So what I want to do is I want to create a number sentence that shows exactly what I did with my cards. I wrote 7 plus 8 plus 1 equals 16. Guess what? I get to take all 4 of these cards. I get to take all 4 of these cards. So then what I am doing is I'm taking the 7, I'm taking the 8, I'm taking the 1, and the 16. So now what happens? Guess what? I'm left with a 10, a 12, and that's all I have left. So what do I need to do? Well, if I were using a deck of cards, I would just draw a few cards from the pile to replace these empty spots of the cards that I took. So let's pretend that I'm drawing a couple more cards. All right, when I drew my new cards, these are the new cards that I drew. I drew a 7, I drew a 3, and I drew a 10. And since I took the old target number of 16, I had to pick a new target number off of my pile of cards. So my new target number is 20. So go ahead and start thinking about what combinations you could make to equal to the target number. Again, you can use adding or subtracting. I'm going to give you just a minute to have some think time. Did you think up any combinations to make the number 20 the target number? Well, I've thought of a couple of ways to make 20. I could do 10 plus 10 equals 20. If I do that, I can collect 3 cards, 1, 2, and 3. Is there another way that I can make 20? Look closely. There is. I can actually collect more cards if I think of a different way to add these numbers together. I know my tens facts, and I know that 7 plus 3 equals 10, and 10 plus 10 equals 20. So look at what I did. I'm actually using 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards. And if the goal is for me to collect the most cards, this is probably going to be the way that I choose to collect those numbers. 10 plus 10 equals 20. That's a pretty easy way to get to 20. You can do that. Or if you think a little bit further, I can actually collect more cards by doing the second problem. 7 plus 3 plus 10 equals 20.